Astral Chain is Platinum Games' newest exclusive on the hybrid console. This futuristic, stylish action game feels like a culmination project of some of the best Platinum games we've seen in the last few years, borrowing mechanics that call back to some of this developer's best work. You play as a member of the Neuron Task Force in the Ark, the last bastion of humanity, as they stand to fight off the interdimensional beings called the Chimera. These creatures corrupt humans with the mere touch of red matter, causing all types of sickness and transformations. Your Legion, which at some point was also a Chimera, allows you to purify the diseased and do a little environmental cleaning on the side, to say the least. Before you begin your campaign, you're given the choice to pick between a pair of siblings, a brother and a sister, which lets you choose your gender and some very basic customization options. The story is broken down into chapters, and early on, most of the chapters have a very similar flow to them. Explore the Ark, which is the massive city where the Neuron HQ is located, and do some environmental exploration in the form of field investigations, where you'll get to check not just your surroundings, but interrogate civilians, arrest suspects, clean the streets from some litter, and use your Legion to clean up the red matter, help drones, find cats, and raise your police rank. Using your detective vision, you can scan the environment and accrue information from NPCs about what's transgressed before your arrival. This mode feels like a more flashy version of the Phoenix Wright investigation sequences before a big case. It's a nice touch at the very least. There's two types of cases, red ones which are your main story beats that you'll have to experience to progress along, and blue ones that feel more like side objectives. This is worth noting since while a ton of blue quests may seem mundane, they ultimately help raise your score and let you get better items. Most investigations lead to your eventual transition over to the astral plane, which is where the Chimera reside, and it's a cut-off world from your own reality. This is where your Legion's navigation purposes are kicked into high gear, and of course, most of your early combat will take place, although without getting into spoilers, that doesn't hold true for the whole game. While in the astral plane, your Legion will help you with simple puzzles, platforming objectives, and open off locked off areas. You'll also be using them to purify a lot more than in the human world. The limiter gauge is basically the stamina bar for the Legions, and it decreases the longer the Legion is out, and it gets sapped even faster if the Legion takes a hit. Combat breaks down into your character having a basic string of attacks on the weapon of choice that you have currently equipped. Your Legion, who's controllable at any and all times, can attack anything you're focusing on, or they can be sent to attack any other enemy. They have their own set of attacks and up to 2 equipped skills at any given time, meaning that once you have all 5 Legions unlocked, which are their very own boss battles as you progress along, you can have something like 10 skills available to you at a moment's notice. Since swapping between Legions is instant, chaining together combos using sync attacks and Legion abilities quickly opens up the door to just how complex this combat can get. That's not even to mention your team-up options with the Legion, where you can equip your Arms Legion as a body armor, ride the Beast Legion, use your Axe Legion as a shield, or even use the Astral Chain to stun enemies in place, fling them backwards, or even lead a barrage of arrows down from above in a straight line. But it's not all about just being offensive. Positioning plays a huge role when using your chain as a weapon, and even when you want to perfect dodge, since it leads to landing an automatic attack that could be an opener for a massive combo. And like hinted before, combat and even traversal borrow from a lot of systems in previous Platinum games, and it mixes them into a nice two, where you'll find yourself doing things every few minutes that in the previous game it would have been the one-off gimmick in that title. It's really impressive how they managed to make it work without feeling overtly complex or simply wedged in for the sake of having more systems to juggle. Every Legion has their own skill trees to learn, with active skills and passive buffs. You have 2 active skills that can be swapped from any ones you have available, so finding the ones that synergize the most is key. There's ability items that you can find in your playthrough and can be slotted into any Legion for even more customization. They can range from more attack to even a longer chain and anything in between. There's a built-in achievement system with proper rewards that will net you some cool customization items and even color swaps. And if difficulty is a problem, upon completing the chapter you unlock even more difficulties for those looking for replayability and an added challenge. While 30 frames per second may not be the ideal goal for an action game, the game runs extremely well in both docked and in handheld, and you should know that it's not just an action game throughout. There's plenty of investigations to be had, and a story that kept ratcheting up the stakes in every chapter. Rio Gaming gets Astral Chain on Nintendo Switch an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. See ya!